America in the mid-1800s, a country split between free states up north and slave states down south. The North liked factories, railroads, and long speeches about progress. The South liked cotton, plantations, and pretending slavery was tradition. Neither side got along, but instead of therapy, they chose guns. And not Nerf ones, real ones. Abraham Lincoln gets elected in 1860. Tall hat, tall guy, even taller moral issues. Southerners panic, yelling, "He's gonna take our slaves!" Lincoln's like, "I literally just got here." But panic beats reason, so Southern states start leaving the Union like it's a bad group chat. First up, South Carolina slamming the door dramatically. By early 1861, 11 states had formed the Confederate States of America. They wrote their own constitution, basically America 2.0, but with extra slavery. They picked Jefferson Davis as president. Nobody really cared who he was, but he looked serious in portraits. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. was sweating because losing half your country is kinda awkward. April 1861. The first shots at Fort Sumter. Confederates fire, Union soldiers panic, cannonballs fly, and boom. The Civil War officially begins. Nobody thought it'd last long. Both sides were like, "We'll win in 3 months tops." Spoiler, it'll drag on for 4 bloody years and involve more mustaches than any other American war. The Union had industry, railroads, money, and more men. The Confederacy had cotton, better generals, and sheer stubbornness. North, we'll starve them out. South, we'll just wait for Britain to join. Britain, no thanks. We're busy drinking tea. So the war began. Maps, marches, and a whole lot of marching in circles. First big battle, Bull Run, July 1861. Union soldiers packed picnic baskets thinking it'd be easy. Spoiler, it wasn't. Confederates smashed them, and picnic sandwiches got squished. Everyone suddenly realized this wasn't a quick brawl. This would be a full-on nightmare, with endless mud, long beards, and generals arguing over whose horse was prettier. Lincoln begged for better generals. Enter George McClellan. Loved parades, hated fighting. He organized the Union Army so well they looked fabulous. But when it came time to attack, he'd go, maybe later. Confederates joked he was their best ally. Lincoln was like, "Dude, please, move," while McClellan posed dramatically with maps. Meanwhile, in the West, Ulysses S. Grant emerged. Unlike McClellan, he actually fought. He didn't care about looking fancy. He cared about winning. At Fort Donelson, when Confederates asked his terms, Grant replied, "Unconditional surrender." America cheered. The Confederates groaned. Grant wasn't glamorous, but he drank whiskey and crushed armies, which worked out fine. 1862 brought the Battle of Shiloh. Loud, bloody, chaotic. Soldiers woke up to cannon fire, and 2 days later, 20,000 were dead or wounded. America gasped. War wasn't noble, it was horror. Newspapers screamed, "Shiloh was butchery." Grant shrugged. "Yeah, that's war." Lincoln kept him anyway. Why? Because Grant actually fought, unlike some generals. Back east, Robert E. Lee took command of Confederate forces. Brilliant, daring, and allergic to losing, he quickly became the South superstar. With Stonewall Jackson by his side, Lee pulled insane maneuvers that baffled Union generals. Northerners groaned. "Why do we always face this guy?" Lee grinned, scribbling plans like a war wizard. The Confederates kept winning battles but losing supplies. The Union kept losing battles but gaining men. In 1862, Lee invaded Maryland, hoping to scare the North. But some Union soldier literally found his battle plans wrapped around cigars. At Antietam, the armies clashed, and it became America's bloodiest single day. 23,000 casualties. Yikes. Antietam wasn't exactly a Northern victory, but Lincoln grabbed the moment. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation. From now on, the war wasn't just about saving the Union, it was about ending slavery. Enslaved people fled to Union lines, Britain dropped any idea of helping the South, and Lincoln's tall hat gained even taller moral weight. The proclamation didn't free everyone instantly, but it transformed the war. Black soldiers joined the Union Army, proving themselves in fierce battles. Confederates fumed, calling it unfair. Lincoln shrugged. Should have stayed in the Union. Now the Union fought with a moral cause, while the South fought for cotton. And Britain was like, nope. 1863. The war dragged on. In the East, Union generals kept losing to Lee. At Fredericksburg, soldiers charged straight into Confederate guns, over and over. It was basically suicidal stair climbing. In the West, Grant besieged Vicksburg, starving the Confederates until they surrendered. Union, finally progress. Confederates, stop taking our rivers, man. Then came Gettysburg, July 1863, the biggest battle of the war. 3 days of chaos, hills, fences, cannons, endless smoke. The climax, Pickett's charge, was basically thousands of Confederates running across open fields into Union artillery. It ended badly. Lee admitted, "This is all my fault." Union soldiers cheered. Finally, we stopped him. After Gettysburg and Vicksburg, the Union finally had momentum. Lincoln gave his famous Gettysburg Address, 272 words, redefining the war as a fight for freedom and democracy. People were like, wait, that's it? No long speech? Lincoln tipped his hat and walked off. Short, sweet, legendary. McClellan probably would have made it 400 pages. Meanwhile, Grant kept grinding in the West. His strategy, keep hitting the Confederates until they break. Losses? Sure. Whiskey? Yes. But victory? Always the goal. Lincoln promoted him to command all Union armies. Southerners groaned. Oh no, it's him again. Grant simply lit a cigar, mumbled, "Let's finish this," and got to work. William Tecumseh Sherman joined the show. Fiery, unpredictable, brilliant. He believed in total war. His idea? If the South wanted to fight, he'd destroy everything supporting them. Railroads, factories, barns, even fences. Southerners called him a monster. Sherman just laughed, torch in hand. Soon, Georgia was about to have the worst housewarming party ever. And that's where we'll stop for now. Sherman's turning Georgia into barbecue, and the South's not loving it. Want to see what happens next? Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and watch the next part.